Happy Friday, Infiniteers! We are back in my recreation of Donald Duck's OJ race. And today we are going to build a huge orange juice carton. Yep, that's right. If you can dream it, you can do it. This is the centerpiece of this classic toy box, as you can see from this footage of the original toy box. And the racetrack that the developers built passes through this huge orange juice carton twice. So that's what we need to build. And this should be a lot of fun. So let's get started. And we're going to begin with this large block wall, which you find in the basic blocks drawer. And I want to come over here to the split right before the bridges. Okay, this is where they enter the orange juice carton. I want to come down and just drop this into the track so you can kind of see where that is. And we're going to the edge of the track, and you want this flipped around so that it's on top of the split, not on top of that piece of track. Okay, so once you're sure it's positioned or oriented correctly, we're going to raise it up to the track level, bring it over, and drop it right on the edge of the track, just like that. Okay, and then we're going to style this. And we're going to go over to the right, and we're looking for the red gloss. That's what we're going to use for the majority of the carton. Okay, and there we go. So that's the edge of the carton where they enter the thing. All right, and then we're going to come out of the spark mode there. We're going to come down here and drop a second one right next to it. And then we're going to select the block wall and drop two of those there. Okay, so that brings us out to the edge of the carton. We're going to come over to the other side and do the exact same thing. Okay. And then we're going to come down and put a row of these across like that. And this gets us all the way to the bottom of the ground here. That little flick trick only works some of the time. Alright, so there we go. That's where they enter the carton. Okay. And then we're going to come up above this now, and we're going to put a row of these across. Like that. Yeah, it only works for a little while. That's weird. Sometimes it works fine, sometimes it doesn't. And there it stops working. Anyway, we're going to put 3 rows of those above, okay? And that is the side of the carton on this end. And then this will go a little higher, but we're not there yet. Okay, now before we build the rest of the carton, let's come out of the spark mode there, and we're going to come over here to these lava blocks. This is what we're going to use for the orange juice that's in the carton. We're going to put down 4 of those. And then we're going to come over here and add in 2 of these huge blocks here. And I'm doing it that way because sometimes, depending on how you look at this, you'll see the seams. I don't know that we're going to see them too much here because it'll be shaded, but I'd rather, when they come in here, the seams for the smaller pieces are going to be covered up by the racetrack here. So I'd rather have the larger pieces out on this end. I think that's important. And then we're going to bring this up and do the same thing up here at this level. And this will be the orange juice up here. Okay. And you'll notice the carton is not perfectly square. All right. It is kind of rectangular. This is 8 of these large wall pieces across in this direction. It's going to be 4 across in this direction. Okay, let's go ahead and pick this piece up, put it back, and we're going to flip it around and come out here to the front. And we need to build the block art for Donald Duck's face on this side of the orange juice carton. And I can't do that if the large block wall is oriented that way. So we need to flip it around so that it's lined up flush with the edge of this. Okay? So again, it sits in there like that, not like that. You can kind of see the two pieces there. Okay. And let's actually bring this up to the top because I'm not going to be able to put a full piece down here. Because I don't have room, it goes into the ground. So we're going to have to use some smaller pieces to do that. And I'd rather put those smaller pieces along the bottom because this is going to be kind of covered up a little bit by some plants and decorations. And we'll put a row of these across the bottom, and this time the little flick trick is working. Okay. And I can't place anything there, so we'll have to place it up on top of the lava block. We're just kind of enclosing in the carton here at this point. And then once again, got to put the smaller pieces in here. Some of these along the back we can probably remove after we cover up the front with the block art for Donald Duck. Just to save memory. Okay. And there we are. There's that side. And we will eventually cover up that lava, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. We'll wait and see where the block art ends up. All right, on this side, we'll keep it simple. We'll kind of match the other side, so we're going to orient it like this, not that way where it collides with the block. Okay? That lets us cover up the lava on this side. And it also ensures that we have no gap on the corner there, which is good. And then a little one of these on that side and a little one on this side. We're going to place one of these on either side like this and leave a hole in the middle. That's where the rail slide goes, which I did not take when I was racing. If you notice when you play Toy Box Speedway, you can grind rail slides when you're driving. I have a hard time doing that in the Toy Box, though. It doesn't work for me. I don't know what the difference is, but anyway, it just doesn't work. Not as reliably, anyway, as it does in the other, in the Toy Box game. All right, so this side I'm not going to worry so much about the gap. We're just going to make life easy on ourselves. And we'll cover up this. And the fact that we have a little bit of a gap there between those two pieces where you can kind of see the lava back there a little bit. I'm not going to worry about it because the player's not going to get a good look at that from any point along the track where they're driving. So we'll just cover up this side of the carton using as few pieces as possible. Okay, and that is it for most of the red. That fills in the majority of the bottom part of the carton. Okay, now we're going to work on the upper part of the carton. And we're going to have to change the textures for this. So we are going to drop a block here. And we're going to change the theme on this now to be the gold gloss. And we're going to drop down 3 of these, like so. We'll drop that there. And I think we got to drop a couple of these here like that. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to drop 4 of these across here like that. And what we need to do now is start building the slope of the roof. But before we do that, let's go ahead and fill in the top of the carton here. See, the little flick trick stopped working for me. That's just so weird. Okay, and then I want to make sure, yeah, I can go ahead and put 1 in there. Just wanted to make sure I had that in the original. And then here we have 2 of these. Okay. And now we're going to scroll over to the right to the slopes. This long wedge block, and we're just going to start putting the wedges across here and building the slope that leads up to the top of the carton. And this takes a little bit of time. All right, and then up 1 more. I think we gotta go 2 more. That gets us up to the peak at the middle. Okay, so there we go. There is the peak of the carton. And we'll plug those gaps here in a little bit. Now we want to come over here and do the same thing. By the way, I had intended to do this video a little earlier in the week, but I've been working on the Disney Infinity image archive all week. You know, some of you have pointed out that there are links there that are broken because ImageBox the service that I use to host the high definition screenshots and Disney Infinity images is down. Doesn't look like it's coming back anytime soon. So I'm reloading the images up to a new server, which means I have to update all of the links on the image archive. And that's pretty time consuming, because the way I've got the archive set up is to make it real easy to search. So you can go there and look by playset. You can go look for particular characters and you'll find the images that way, and those links are duplicated in each place. So having to update all those links takes a little bit of time. But we're getting there. So hopefully another week or so I'll have that done. So anyway, you had to wait till today to have this. But we're doing this today, so here we go. All right, so there is the roof for the carton. And then up at the top, we're going to drop down some of these across the top, just for the folded edge of the orange juice carton. And there we go. And now we need to fill in the gaps. And let me get to a place here where we're going to do that. Okay, so we're going to pick this piece up and put this back. And we're going to put this piece down here. And we'll use this piece to plug gaps all the way across. Okay. And then up here, plug the gaps. Oops, don't need that one. And we'll just drop one little block on either side. Don't need to run that all the way across. Plug the gap. Plug that gap. And just plug in those gaps. That's especially important from this direction, because as the player comes down off of that curve, if you don't plug those gaps, they're going to see those gaps right between all of those blocks. So it's important to plug those. And then we'll plug the holes on this side. We'll do that on each end. Like that. And like that. Okay. All right, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we'll pick this piece up, put it back to get back to that part of the drawer. Come out to this end. We've already got those pieces in there. So we'll drop some of these down across here, like so. And there we go. So there is the carton from this side, from that side, as you approach from there. You have it on this side, out over here, and this side. And this side needs a little work. We got to cover up the lava, but we also want to put the pixel art for Donald Duck's face here. And this is the part that is kind of fun, because I don't get to work with pixel art too often. So I'm glad for that. All right, so where we're going to start this, we're going to come down here, and I'm going to just overlap those blocks there, because I want to find the block we need. It's going to be on this third block, middle of the block, go over 2 nudges and drop it right there. Okay? So we've got 1 block, 2 blocks, 2 of those large blocks, and then this sits in here like that. And now we're going to build Donald Duck's face. And this is why I wasn't worried about covering up the lava, because his face is going to kind of cover up some of this. So I'm not too worried about that. We're going to frame in his beak, his mouth here first. This piece will sit in here like that. And we come over here like so. This piece will sit up here. We'll put in 3 of those. And then 1 in the middle of that middle piece, like that. And like that, okay? So there's his mouth framed in. Let's go ahead and put in next the interior of his mouth. So we're going to drop 1 piece in there. We're going to change the theme on this to be blacktop. That gives us a nice solid black. I'll set that to be my theme. We'll fill in his mouth. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to leave space there for 2 blocks. And we're going to put 2 blocks here on top of each other like that. And another 2 like that. This will be for the pupils of his eyes. Okay? And then what I want to do is come over here on top of this piece. I'm not going to put this down, but I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. So I'm leaving space for 2 blocks here. Okay. We're going to come back and put something in there of a different color. We're going to put 2 blocks up here like this. Drop a tall piece there like that. And put that in there like so. Okay, so that's what you have there. And then we're going to come over to the edge of this and go over 1 block, down 1 block. So right there. We'll put this piece here like this. And like that. Okay, so that's what we have now. You can kind of see that's starting to frame in the edge of his hat a little bit. Okay, next, let's come up here and let's go ahead and do his hat. So, I'm looking at this and trying to decide the best way to do this. Let's go ahead and put this piece in here like so, and I'm going to change the theme on this now. We're going to set this to be the blue gloss. There it goes. And we'll put 2 of those down. And then we're going to drop one of these like that. Another one like that. Another one like that. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we'll drop a little piece down there below. This piece will sit up here, and we'll go 1, 2, and then 2 of these small ones. This piece will sit here. We'll do 2 of those. Right, so there is Donald's hat. That's what we have there. And you can pause the video and look at the seams if you were having trouble seeing exactly how all that went together. Okay, let's come over here next, and we're going to put down another square block right in here. And we're going to change the theme on this now to be white. And for the white, we're going to go over to the left, and I'm looking for plastic 2. You got to go over a little ways to get there. Plastic 2. This will be for his fur, feathers. Guess birds don't have fur, they have feathers. We'll use that to frame in his eyes. Whoops, not that piece. Let's put that one in. Like that. Those there like that. And this will sit in here like that. And that frames in the eyes. And then for the eyes, we'll change the theme one more time to be the Frozen theme. You find that over to the right. Okay. Just kind of gives a nice little sparkle to his eyes. Okay, and there is Donald Duck. And now that we have his face, now we can cover up the lava. So we're going to pick this piece up, put it back to get back to that part of the drawer. Go pick up the short block wall, flip that around. We're going to drop it out here, and we will change the theme on this to be red gloss. And there's our red gloss. And then we'll cover up the lava. We only have to go over part way, because his face covers up part of that lava. And then we'll go up here and do the same thing up at this level. Cover up the parts of the lava that show. And you might wonder, well, that sticks out. Will that be a problem? Well, when you get back out this way and you're driving along, you're not going to see that. Okay? And when you're approaching this direction with the track and you're trying to steer around this curve, you're not going to notice that there's anything sticking out over there because you're busy focused on driving. And of course, when you get over this way, you're never going to see it. So that's not a problem. But how about that? That looks pretty good, doesn't it? I like the way that looks. So that's how you build the huge orange juice carton for this racetrack. Next time we will add in the farm buildings, the plants, the decorations, and all of the track features, and then we'll be finished with this toy box. Until then, I want to thank you for watching, and if you're enjoying this series and you'd like to see more recreations of classic toy boxes like this, then please like and subscribe and leave a comment to let me know. That's all for me today. Have a great weekend.